So welcome to the second microbiome video section. I am Clara Levine. I am a senior regulatory scientist at Voice and Consulting Life Sciences, and I'm here to discuss the microbiome journey for the development of a food product. So first, we need to clarify that a food product can be any substance or product that is intended to be or is expected to be ingested by humans. It includes components that can be nutrients, but also other substances that have a nutritional or physiological effect. So it can include, for example, proteins, carbohydrates, fats, etc., and other undefined substances. So considering those definitions, pre- and probiotics can be included in the scope of both those definitions, respectively, as nutrients or as other substances. So the first step for development of a food microbiome product is to consider the novel status of the components, of each of its components. For example, if we consider the EU and the US examples, products or ingredients that were not placed on the market or that were not significantly consumed by the population before a certain date, that is 1994, 1997, are considered as novel or new by the authorities, meaning that we don't have an history of safety of use for the human population for those products. So for each novel or new ingredient, we will have to assess the safety of those products so they can be put on the market. This status of novel food or new ingredient can specifically be applying to microbiome-related ingredients, so that is probiotics and prebiotics, because those are recent ingredients on the market and we don't have a long history of use or not well characterized components for this product. Especially the EU clarified recently with a new regulation on novel food that ingredients and foods consisting of, isolated from, or produced from microorganisms or fungi, algae, are likely to be considered novel foods. Recently, the EU clarified that ingredients that are food consisting of, isolated from, or produced from microorganisms, fungi or algae are included in the scope of novel foods. So clearly, microbiome-related ingredients are in the scope of this regulation and their status should be considered before being placed on the market. So the first step for placing such a product on the market is to identify the novel or not status of each of its ingredients, and this can be done by interacting with the authorities. And the second step is, when relevant, to notify the authorities or apply for an authorization for placing those products on the market when it is necessary, depending on the geography. On a second step, it is important to determine as soon as possible what is the regulatory status applying to the food product that you are developing. For food products, we can consider a broad range of application. It can be a common food, it can be a fortified food, it can also be food or food supplement or dietary supplement, depending how you call it, depending on the geography. We can also consider medical food, also called food for special medical purposes. So we have a wide scope of application for the development of food products with a specific health application. Parameters such as the form of the product, but also its components, it claims that it is bearing, the target population need to be considered and will determine altogether what is the relevant status applying to the food product that you are developing. So the properties of microbiome-related food products can be communicated on by using health claims. So health claims are defined as messages or representation of any kind that state, suggest, or imply the existence of a relationship between a food category or a food product itself and one of the characteristics of health or a health parameter. To communicate on the properties of any pre- or probiotic product related to their health impact will need to be done in accordance with the applicable legislation regarding health claims for food products. So the major steps for a health claim use is first to identify if the product is eligible to health claim. Not all food products under their statuses can bear an health claim. We are here referring to the statuses that we evoked before, such as food for special medical purposes, but also other specific statuses depending on the geography. Also, once a product is eligible to an health claim, the health claim will need to be approved by the authority. There are two solutions here. Or the claim is already authorized by the authority, and in this case you just have to meet the condition established by the authorities, or the claim is not authorized yet and you can ask for an application for getting this claim approved specifically in this case. So those are the three major steps for using an health claim on a food product: checking eligibility of the food status, checking the existence of a corresponding health claim, and finally matching with the condition established for the use of the health claim. From a regulatory point of view, there are no further regulatory approval required before putting the product on the market. For some product statuses, you will need to inform the authorities that you will put your product on the market by notifying the authorities of this food product. However, there is no further approval required from the authorities at this stage. So this is quite a simple market access procedure for food products with comparison to other health product statuses.